Hello, my name's Super Ferret. I am playing Elite Dangerous, and I've had a look on YouTube, online. There's one or two videos, but I didn't like any of them. I didn't think that they helped me. So what I'm doing is, now that I've understand the basics, and I stress that, the basics of this game, I'm doing a quick video to highlight some simple information about the user interface, because I don't think it's the best, but also some very quick and easy ways to make some simple amounts, reasonable amounts of credits in order so that you can get up into the different tiers of ship. You'll notice, for those who have been playing for a while, that I'm not currently in a Sidewinder, my little picture of a ship. That's a Cobra. So I've already upgraded my ship. I've not been playing for very long, maybe a week, a few hours every day, right? So it's not difficult to get. That costs 300, I think, and I've spent about 2 million in upgrades, roughly, give or take. So it's not difficult to get credits quickly, but it is if you don't know where you start. And it took me, most of my time was spent researching what to do. So, very briefly then, the basics, the user interface. Okay, you start off in a spaceport. You'll be in a Sidewinder, I imagine. You'll be in Federation space, generally. And you've got this in front of you. Now, I've unlocked the camera because I've bound it to a key. Key bindings can be found if you press escape in options, in controls. These are all my key bindings. There's a shit ton of them. You may want to just go through them as and when you feel like you might need something like it, or you feel like you need to do a few things. There's some key bindings that you'll want to set up immediately though. So, disable flight assist. That, at the moment, when you start flying around in space, your ship will feel like it's flying through atmosphere, because at the moment your thrusters will be firing to compensate for when you fire one way, they'll fire the other, so that you don't just spin around in space. This turns that off, so if you pitch one way, you'll just carry on pitching. There won't be anything for you to, there won't be any helping thrusters for you to stop. But that's useful in combat and also for docking, so that's one thing you want to put on a hotkey, Z. The other really good one to have on a hotkey is, where are you? It'll be a map. I've probably gone past it. There's so many. It's really difficult. Okay, galaxy map. Where's the hotkey for galaxy map? Oh my lord. Look at all this nonsense. This is one reason why I wanted to make this video. Look how much there is. This is supposed to be the user interface. It's like learning to ride a friggin' elephant. Anyway, somewhere in here I've put M to be my hotkey for the map. I couldn't find it if you asked me to find it. M. Oh, open galaxy map M. Okay. The other good ones, while I'm here, UI focus mode, right? User interface focus mode. That basically puts you back so that you're looking at outside the window of your ship. Okay. So I've got that to hold at the moment. Target panel and systems panel are the other two things that you're going to be using a lot, so that again you want a key binding for it. I use F1 and F2, you can use what you like. Make sure that you're not currently using it for something else though, which you will later need. Head look, I'm using another mouse button. That head look does this, so I can see around my ship. This is useful because you can use it to view panels, which pop up. However, F1 and F2 open the same panels, and then hold, like I said, just gets you looking back outside, gives you your main user interface. This little circle with the blue dot, I'll explain later. Same with the other panels. I'll explain them as we leave the space station. For now, F1, this is your navigation panel. It gives you information about your current navigation. This is all the stuff in this system. That star means that I'm currently at that star. So it's named Erin, and it looks like a little star symbol. That means it's a star. The circular icon means that it's a planet. This little symbol means it's a city or space station. This is also a space station, but it's a different type of space station. I think this refers to industrial space stations. Different space stations have different icons. That's a planet. That, obviously, conflict zone. That's a war zone. If you fly into that, you won't necessarily get shot, but what you can do is you can pick a side. It's a way of making money. It's also one of the funnest aspects of this game. These ones, with the little system icon next to it, you know, a little star surrounded by other little planets, those are obviously other little systems I could fly to with my FSD drive, which is your main mode of transport. It's how you get about the galaxy. Okay. The other one, that's your current status, your balance, the rebuy cost of your ship, if you were to blow yourself up, your bounty if you have one, so if you do anything naughty, that's where your local bounty will be. Remember that your bounty will change depending on what jurisdiction you're in. And then your reputation in the local area. I don't have much, I've only been playing for a week, so I don't have anything in. My highest rank will be my combat rank, and it's not even that high. I've killed a few ships, but I've also blown up a few times. So, these are the modules that I currently have. The letter is how good the module is, and the number is the size of the module, so that is a very good module, but it's only size 2. If you've got a larger ship, you can fit larger fuel scoops, larger modules, generally. Cobras can fit size 4 thrusters and shield generators, but most of the other things they fit is number 2. Frameshift droid's number 4. You're mass locked, so you can only have so much mass in your ship. And obviously the bigger the number, the more mass that thing has. Sometimes it's better to get better modules, a higher class, but smaller size, because it keeps your mass down, which makes you jump further, makes you use less fuel, all that kind of stuff. Fire groups. If you buy a weapon, this is where you can assign it to a mouse key, and you can also have more than one fire group. So I've got 2 fire groups. This is where my basic discovery scanner and my kill warrant scanner and stuff is. And this is where my weapons are. Pulse laser, my multi-cannon is on. Number 2 means right mouse button, number 1 means left mouse button. You can change it by selecting it to change it. You can also add another group, so if I wanted to have the kill warrant scanner in the same group, there you go. So now I can scan them with my left mouse button, and I'll be shooting them with my right mouse button. But I'm quite happy with just 2, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. That's my current cargo. Haulage, that's what I'm currently got. It's actually a mission that I'm currently on. And this one, Pearl Whiskey, that's a rare commodity which I've picked up in this particular space station. It's one of the reasons I'm here. And those are the functions that you currently have. Silent running, that's if you want to sneak into a space station without getting scanned. You've got lights, orbit lines. I mean, you can have a read through this in your own time. Some of them, I don't generally use any of this sort of stuff. Everything that I need to, I mean, silent running, I've got that on a hotkey. I think you could put lights on a hotkey. Flight assist, I've got on a hotkey. Rotational correction. If you're flying a really big ship, all of these space stations rotate, so when you're docking, trying to get through the docking hatch while it's rotating can be difficult. So if you've got a large capital ship later on in the game, rotational correction can be useful for docking, but I don't use it because I'm in quite a small ship. Anyway, so that's that panel. Back to this panel. That's my current mission. I've got 55 minutes to complete it. You can see on the right hand side of the bottom of the bottom of the right hand side of the yellow bar that's currently selected. I've got 0 hours 55 minutes to complete this mission, so that's what we're going to be doing first. Carry clothing to that place. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Contacts, that's the current contacts in my immediate vicinity. I've got the space station, I've got a few ships which I can scan if they're A, within range, and B, directly in front of me. At the moment none of them are, so I can't scan them. And I've also got these. That's every time someone jumps into hyperspace, they leave one of these behind. If you've got the correct equipment, you can scan it and then follow them. It's really good if you want to take up life as a pirate. Sub-targets... I mean, if you're scanning surrounding systems and all that kind of stuff, that pops up in there. But it's also... So, I've got that one selected. Those are the sub-targets on that ship. So this is good. If you're shooting somebody, you can target their FSD drive, and if you get it below a certain health, they won't blow up, but it means that they won't be able to run away because their FSD drive will be down. If you target that power plant, you might get lucky and destroy them in one hit if you've broken their shields. So little things like that. If you target their cargo hatch, they might inadvertently drop a bit of cargo, which you can then scoop up. And that's your cargo scanner. I don't have one, so there's nothing there. Okay, so that's that. So let's check out starport services. This is where you're going to be starting your game. Okay, now you can refuel. You can refuel on 10% or the entire thing. For me it's the same, so I'm just going to do that. You can repair your ship. You can do that here, or you can go into repairs and just repair the things you need to. I've got a little bit of paint work, but for some reason it won't let me paint it. Well, now it did. Nope. It's not going to let me do it. Nah, it's not going to let me do it. I don't know why. If you get more than a few percent, it will let you repair your paint workbook. It lets you repair any system that you just want to if you just want to repair that one system. Although I tend to think that's a bad idea. Just repair the entire ship. It's not expensive. Unless you've got a huge capital ship. Bulletin board, this is where missions are available. Now, you'll see that some of them are available, some of them are not. The reason that they might not be is because one of these requirements you won't meet. So this faction doesn't trust me enough to complete the mission. If I get more reputation with this faction, they'll then let me do missions like this. They tend to pay higher, but they also tend to be illegal or have other special requirements which you may want to keep in mind. This is the time left. Every mission has a time indicator. The quantity is the amount of cargo they'll want you to carry, if they want you to carry any. Sometimes they don't require cargo space. And that's the type of cargo. Incidentally, if you don't complete the mission within time, which is why I'm rushing slightly, because I've got 55 minutes to complete mine, you fail the mission, you get a fine, and then you're carrying illegal cargo. So if you start flying about and get scanned, you'll get fined again for carrying illegal cargo. Try to do the missions within the time frame specified. If you can't do it, then try not to accept the mission. Do a little bit of research before you set off. Again, doesn't trust me. You may find that sometimes I can do this mission if I was trusted, because I've got quite a lot of cargo space in my current ship. But in the Sidewinder, I think you only start off with 8 or 4, which is pretty terrible. Which means that you won't be able to do this because you won't have the cargo capacity. So, but like I say, sometimes they don't require cargo space. This one doesn't. The special requirement is actually a bonus. No hold space required. They tend not to pay very well though. So, I'll show you one that I've got. I'm not going to accept this, but this is very similar to what I've just accepted. I have to deliver some scrap. Well, in this one, I have to deliver some scrap to Errand Force Survey. You know, actually, this is a really good one because this is within the same system, if I'm correct. And I'm currently in Aranin. I'm currently in Aranin. So this would be like, this is easy money. You know what? I'll accept it. The other ones you get, combat missions. Okay, this is... they're wanting me to shoot authority ships. They want me to kill 3 of them. They've got 4 hours to do it. They want me to do it in these systems. It doesn't say so here, but because they're authority ships, it will be considered illegal in the systems that I'm shooting them. So I'll be getting a warrant and a bounty for doing this. They do tend to pay well, though. The other kind of missions you get are kill pirates. Now, if you're killing pirates, they'll be wanted, which means that you won't get a wanted status yourself because you're helping out the authorities. The other ones you get, especially in places like where I currently am, Aranin, you'll be getting war zone targets. This one's in a neighbouring system, but I'm currently in a war zone system. If you fly to the war zone, they'll pay you 8,000 to kill 3 of the enemy combatant ships. When you fly into the war zone, you've got to select your allegiance. I'll show you quickly. I'm not going to do the mission, but if you go over to this one, go across to functions, right at the top, faction. I can't select anything at the moment, but if you're currently doing the mission and you go into the section, when you click faction, it'll ask you to pick between 2 factions. Just pick either one, and then you'll be making money for everyone you kill, as well as getting this 8,000 for killing 3 of them. So for each ship you'll get a bonus, which you can collect. You collect your money for missions in the bulletin board. It usually pops up at the top. But the combat bond contact, this is where if you're killing combatant ships in a war zone, this is where the extra money will pop up. Each ship's worth, I know, it depends on the ship. So the smallest ship, an Eagle, that's worth about 2,000. Larger ships like Pythons are usually worth about 13. So if you get the last hit on these ships, the money will pop up in here, you can collect it. This is how I made most of my money at the beginning of the game, is by going into war zones, getting paid to shoot people. But because it's a war zone, there's hundreds of ships. If you're lucky, you can get into a wolf pack with other ships and get the last hit on a very large capital ship. I mean, the first time I did it, I made about 80,000 in about half an hour because I got lucky and I last hit a lot of large capital ships. In a Sidewinder, it's difficult. Although you're manoeuvrable, your weapons are pretty awful. In this section, you also have local security office. If you kill someone with a bounty, you'll be able to collect bounties here. You'll also be able to, if you get a bounty, you'll be able to pay them off here, providing you don't get killed on your way to the... If you've got a large bounty, people will be bounty hunters will be trying to kill you. So try not to get it too high, unless that's the kind of thing you want to do. If you're carrying illegal goods, some places, not everyone, but some of them have a black market which you can sell illegal goods. I'm currently not selling. I don't have anything to sell, so if you're flying between different places, another way of making money is by scanning the system and everything in it. In this section, if you've got scan data of a star and maybe a couple of planets, you can sell the information here. The further away from the original place you scanned it, you take it, the more it's worth. And different planets are worth different things. So if you scan a star, they're generally worth about 600 credits. If you scan an Earth-like planet, they're worth tons. They're 100,000 credits more the further you take them. So this is a really good way of making money later on in the game, and it's also a nice way of exploring if that's the kind of thing that you're into. What I do is I tend to do a little bit of this at the same time as trading, because trading, I find, is the easiest way to make money, and this is kind of like a bonus as you're travelling along, because you have to travel between places to trade anyway. In order to trade, use the commodities market. You can see all the commodities that this place currently has. I'm currently in an agriculture and refinery economy, as you can see at the top. You can also go to M, which is what I've got my map set to. Click on the system, and it says in the over here, if you look at this area, when I mouse over, it tells me the information. It's got a low population, and it's an extraction economy. That's where my mission is at the moment. That's where I currently am. You can also get to where you currently am by clicking navigation and then going current location, then pressing the little play button. That gives you my current location. Go to info, mouse over. Okay, so this is an agricultural economy. System includes an outdoor world with an extensive agricultural economy specialising in many grain and livestock. So that gives you an indication of what kind of things they trade in. You can also go to system view, click on the different places. The space stations are where you're going to be doing most of your trading. Click on that. You can't actually land on any of the planets at the moment, so no one can. It's not part of the game, so you're going to be landing at space stations. This tells you, if you click on each one, it tells you what they deal in and what kind of facilities they have. So trade data, agriculture, hydrogen fuel cells, pesticides. This is the kind of things they import, this is the kind of things they export, and this is what you're not allowed to take in. Slave stocks erased. There you go. Self-explanatory. This is the basic information you need in order to start trade routes. But I'm going to show you a different way of trading, which requires a bit of research on the internet. But once you've got the information and you've got a route set up, and you've got a ship which is capable of travelling large distances, then you can make a lot of money quickly. I'm going to be covering that in another video, though. At the moment we're just going to go through the basics. So, I've got a mission currently. Oh, incidentally, outfitting. This is where you can upgrade your ship. Hard points refer to weapons and utilities which you can use, during combat or outside of combat. Heat sinks, they're good for smuggling stuff, but they're also really good if you get caught inside a sun and you really need to get rid of some heat quickly. That's why I carry one. A kill warrant scanner. If you scan a ship, which currently says it doesn't have a warrant on it, it's not wanted. It may still be wanted in a different jurisdiction, which is why I have a kill warrant scanner. If you get interdicted, which you may find, you may see that as we're flying around. Interdiction means when you're flying flying faster than the speed of light, people can drag you out of it because they've got a special device on their ship that allows them to do it. They'll pull you out of FSD drive and then try and kill you. It may say that they're clean, which means if you were to just attack them, you'll probably get a wanted status unless they were attacking you first. But if you had one of these, you can scan them first, and then you'll see that actually they've got a £2,000 bounty on them, and that's why they're a pirate, and that's why I carry one, because the amount of times you get interdicted is actually quite high. So having one of these on board is actually quite useful. Internal, that's all your internal stuff. I won't go through it all at the moment. It's all pretty self-explanatory, and I've already covered it to some degree. This is where you can add paint if you can afford to buy it. I've already paid 30 quid for the frigging game. Okay, anyway. I've got to go. I've got something to deliver. So, I've got two things to deliver. This one has only got 41 minutes left, but this one's in this system. So, I'm going to do... It's only 40 minutes left. I'm going to do this one first, but I've got to get on with it. So, I've got to take this one to Starport. If you look there, Arraign 4 survey. Now, it's in the same system. So if I go to navigation, Arraign 4 survey. That's where I want to go. Lock destination. Okay, launch. The first time you launch in your ship, you're going to have to do a few safety checks, from what I remember, and basically it makes you press the buttons which you're going to be using to fly the ship. You pitch your tilt, turn, thrusters and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're familiar with your settings before you set off. Okay, so one vertical thrust away from the pad, and then a little bit of forward momentum, and then off we go. Whoop. sometimes my thrusters bug out, so I kept on going up even though I'd stopped thrusting, and I've got my flight assist on. It was still going up after I pressed my thrusters, so sometimes I have to thrust down and then thrust up again. It's quite annoying. Anyway, what you do, that's where we're going to be heading. The reason I found that, I just tilt away in a random direction. So, I can't see it. So what you can do, this user interface in front of you, you've got three main things you're going to be looking at. This is your current shield status and hull integrity, 100% hull integrity. The blue rings around your ship, that's your current shield status. Now, the other things to note over here, this is my engine management. At the moment I've got pings in my engine and systems and nothing in my weapons. I can put everything to my weapons by using the arrow keys. This is what they're normally bound to. The weapons is my right arrow key, engines my up arrow key, systems left arrow key, and reset, that puts everything 2 pings. That's my down arrow key. Next to that's my current fuel status. You can see it's all yellow bars, so I've got full fuel. Landing gear is currently down, that's why it's in blue. Landing gear retracted. Press L to get rid of that, that's what I've got it currently bound to. Again, check your hotkeys in options. The next one is mass locked. You said you saw it was blue a moment ago. If you're too close to a large ship or a large space station, you'll be mass locked, which means that you can't jump away. You need to move away from the space station before you can jump. It's no longer blue, so I'm clear to jump. The next thing to note, the one in front, this big circle in front of you, that's your main information panel about what's around you. The little square things, well, it keeps jumping in and out because he's actually outside of my sensor range. You can zoom in and out with the page up and page down keys by default, but they're they're out with my sensor range. Now, little squares with a line on the circle means that that's a ship. If it's got a little triangle, it means that they've got their hard points out, which might mean weapons, it might mean scanners and stuff. Okay, he's probably got his weapons out, but he's probably, let's have a look. That's actually the spaceport, so no, it's actually the scanners and stuff that they've currently got out. I ain't worried about that. They're not going to attack me. Right, so the other thing to mention, the other thing you'll be using quite a lot, is this little tiny circle next to the big circle with the little blue dot in it. That's your compass. The blue indicator means that that is your currently selected destination. Remember, we went into navigation and I selected a rainfall survey. So that's where I'm currently locked on my compass. So what I can do, if the blue circle is hollow, it means it's directly behind me, look. So that's literally directly behind me. So all I have to do is line up and then look around. And when it comes into the centre of the compass, you'll see... you'll see that I've actually accidentally locked on to that space station that we've just flown away from. Lock destination again. There we go. There. That's where I'm going. Domain 4. Okay? So, when you're ready to jump, throttle up, make sure your landing gear's up, and also, if you've got your hard points deployed, your lasers, which you can do by left clicking your mouse. You can't jump with them out. Cannot comply. So you've got to put them away. I've got it set to a hotkey, which is U on my computer, on mine. When you're ready to go, press J to jump. Drive charging. I've also got, there's 2 types of flight. There's 3 types of flight. This means just flying around at slow speeds. Then there's this one, which is intermediate. This is going into planetary speed. This is where you're going to be spending most of your time, to be honest. It takes a while to fly from one place to another. Okay. So I'm now in FSD drive, but I'm in interplanetary mode. So that's currently where I'm going. The distance and underneath, the time it's going to take, you can see the time it's going to take is, because I'm accelerating, it's going down very quickly. It's not going to take 3 hours, it's going to take more like 5 minutes, because I'm going to be accelerating to, probably by the time I'm halfway, 20 light years 20 light, 20 times the speed of light. Your speed is given just to the right hand side of the large circle, so C means speed of light. 39% is your hold temperature. If it exceeds 150 you'll take hull damage. It's a problem when you're fuel scooping, or if you've got if you get interdicted, like I mentioned before. Sometimes they can knock you out of FSD drive and that will overheat your components as well sometimes. It's mostly a problem around stars though. Anyway, fly to this location and make our delivery. Get paid 4,000. This is the easiest way to make money, especially when it's like this. So if I'm just going between different systems, this is a really simple job. So this is the way that I made like 20,000 to begin with, and then upgraded my power distributor module in an outfitter that I found. Okay, I've kind of fucked up this approach. It's okay though, because I'll just double back. It's not a big deal. Again, looking at my compass, getting the blue circle lined up, and there we go. The easiest way of approaching, at the moment I've got my throttle set to 0, so I'm gonna eventually come to a halt, but I'm still decelerating towards the spaceship, the space station I'm going to. There you go. So it's now, you can see the times going straight up again. The easiest way of approaching a space station is just to approach it directly on, and when the time gets to approximately 7, you throttle back to about 75%. You can do that by a key binding, which is what I've got. So I press number 2 on my number pad. This isn't standard key binding, so you have to set this up. I press number 2, that puts me to 75% throttle, and then that just takes me nicely into an approach vector, and it reduces my speed accordingly as I approach. When Safer Disengage Ready pops up, press J again, and you'll jump back into normal space. And there's the space station. Okay, so let's dock. Approach the space station. When you're within about 7.5 kilometers of the space station, go to Contacts, select that contact, and then request docking.
Docking request granted.
Now you can see there's a little yellow pad is lit up. That's probably where I need to go, but it also tells you proceed to landing pad 2, and it gives you a time frame. Make sure you do it within the time frame as well, and also don't loiter over the entrance to the pad or over another pad, because you'll get fined if you go over the wrong pad. Also, it's worth bearing in mind that there's a way of approaching these things. They're not multi-directional. You have to approach them in the right orientation, else they won't allow you to land properly. Okay, so I'm over the pad. Drop my landing gear. Now when you approach the pad, you saw it beep there.
Landing gear deployed.
I'll approach this slightly better. When you approach the pad, I'll do it nice and slow so you can see what I'm doing. I tend to do this. Go straight down towards the pad. It's got a pretty good turning circle, this. Now you can see that my view has changed. It now gives me a drop down indication of where my ship is. And that line with the dot underneath my ship is what's directly below my hull. When that goes blue,
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
you're docked. Okay, so let's deliver this shit. Go to bulletin board. You can also refuel. Bulletin board. And if you've got something to deliver, it'll pop up at the top of here. Click that, give cargo. There you go. My reputation has gone up slightly. My influence effect on the economic status of this system has also increased slightly, which is all very well and good. Okay, we need to get on to the next place though, because I'm rapidly running out of time to deliver that stuff. So let's go. Now the next place isn't in this system, it's in a neighbouring system. So, first off, fly away.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
Landing gear up.
Landing gear retracted.
Let's check out where we need to go. Navigation. Okay, so I can't tell from looking at this where I need to be for my next job. So what I'll do is I'll click M for my map. If I look at the map, this place here has a little symbol next to it. A little circle with lines going through it. That means I've got a mission to deliver something to this system, so that's where I need to go. So I can click on it and then select the system. If it's within my jump distance, then I can jump straight there, and that's not a problem. If I had to jump over here, just for instance, that's without... I can only jump 15 light years currently, so that's outside my jump distance. I can but I can plot a route though, so I can select it and then plot route, and then it'll take me a nice route. It'll plot it for me, and then you can just jump from system to system. Obviously, I'm not doing that, so I'm just going to go straight to this one. Nice, one jump. Okay, now I've got that selected. You can see my compass has changed. I'm now facing the wrong way. If I go, that's where I'm going. Okay. Let's do it. Now, this time when I jump, because I've got a different system selected, when I press J, instead of going into interplanetary mode,
Frameshift drive charging.
your frameshift drive will charge and you'll jump straight to the star in that system. It's a lot quicker than interplanetary, but I don't know why they couldn't have made a fast travel within systems,
4, 3,
but they haven't.
2, 1.
They feel like flying in is fun. Fly, fly, fly. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay, throttle back at this point, if you haven't already done so. Because if you carry on flying, you'll go into the sun. You can also, if it's a small star, you can usually turn away, but if it's something like a white dwarf, which are pretty nasty little stars, with a really high mass, if you went straight into that, you'd damage your ship. It's not worth doing. Okay, so if you press F1, transactions, carry clothing to Orsini mining platform. If I click it, the starport is Orsini mining platform. So if I go to navigation, I'm looking for Orsini mining platform. They've also got conflict zones here. Oh, there we go. Orsini mining platform. Lock destination. My compass has been updated. So find the point on the compass, and there we go. Not far away, look. So again, I'm going to do this the nice way. Approach it. When you get to a roughly 7 seconds, hit 75% thrust, and then you'll hold around 7 or 6 seconds, depending on the... You're affected by gravity on other planetary bodies, so if you were flying past, if there was a planet on my right hand side, you'd slow down more than I currently am, but as long as you're holding about 6 seconds. You can also throttle down if you think you're going a bit too quick, but this is the safest approach in terms of making sure that you always hit your target. Okay, so what you want to do is you make sure that your speed and your distance get into the blue sector. Then when it says safe to disengage, just above the top of your instrument panel, then you know you're ready. Oh, now, this is what I'm talking about. This is interdiction. So someone's chasing me and they're trying to interdict me. Now there's two things I can do. I can try to match this escape vector, right? And if I get all of my, if I manage to do it quite a lot, enough, the blue bar on the left will increase to the point where it's maximum, and I'll escape. Or if I don't manage to do it, the red will increase all the way, and then I'll be interdicted. Now, I'm actually going to submit, which you can do by throttling back to 0, and then you submit to the interdiction. It also means if you're afraid that you're going to fail interdiction, you can actually damage your ship by being interdicted. So I always submit and then try and run away.
Under attack.
Oh, this guy's trying to kill me. little does he know, he doesn't have any shields. Why would you do that? He doesn't have shields, you can tell, right? So what I've done is I've targeted him. I've got it on a hotkey assigned to G and T. T is the target in front of me, G is my next target. Now I'm going to open my hard points. You can see that he's wanted, but he might also be wanted in another jurisdiction, so I'm going to scan him with my kill warrant scanner. Oh, he's just popped out of range. Don't worry, he'll be back. The one problem I have with my kill warrant scanner on a different hardpoint setting than my weapons is that I can't shoot him at the moment, but he ain't going nowhere. He's got no shields. I'm in a pretty decent ship. He's in a pretty manoeuvrable ship. Anyway, oh, that's the wrong scanner. So there you go. Currently scanning him. This will increase the bounty I get from him as well. Make sure he doesn't go out of range though. There we go. Now I can assign my weapons and we can kill this annoying little prick. This is the fun bit of the game. This is why I like playing the game. Okay, so he's just boosted. That's probably a bad idea. I should be boosted. I've got a much faster boost than him, so I'm just going to overtake him. Oh, thanks, mate. You've done myself a great service. I'm going to put some pips in engines because he's pretty manoeuvrable. And but he's novice, which means he's not going to be flying the best. Did you see that? Dun, 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 dun. No, okay. Olé. That's what I was trying to do. I think I mentioned this before, but if not, then pulse lasers, that's this thing. They're really good against shields. He doesn't have any shields, it's a moron. But they're also free to fire, they just require energy to fire, which is why they're slowing down, because I've only got 2 pips in my weapons. Whoa! He just ran into me, but I've still got my shields up, so all he did was damage himself. In fact, he just killed himself. What a moron. So yeah, you can see my lasers are firing more often now. See, there? They're currently running out of juice that's going to be overheating soon, right? When they get to 0, they'll only fire when you've got the energy to refresh them, and it'll slow down. There you go, thermal overload. So you can tell it's slowed down. Now if I take out the pips from weapons, they'll obviously charge a lot slower. But then, if I take the pips out of engines, I slow down. If I take all the pips out of systems, you can't tell at the moment, but if my shields were damaged, they wouldn't repair themselves. So these are decisions you have to make as and when you get attacked. But that's I'm actually made more money by killing that dude than I will have done from delivering this cargo that I'm currently holding. I'm only going to get 2,000 for delivering this.
3, 2,
which is why I did what I did.
Engage.
Come on. There we go. Right. Back on to my approach vector. This is the boring bit. But unfortunately, when you first start, this is what you're going to have. This is what you're going to be forced to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to land here. You've already seen me dock, so I won't repeat the process. The next video, what I'll do, again, this is beginning. This is just beginner's guide. Don't judge me. Anyone who's an inexperienced player, I've only been playing this for a week. But I'm going to show you how I made a limited amount of money very quickly, although it was very high risk, but it allowed me to buy my Cobra, which then allowed me to do some other things, which I'm going to be showing you in the 3rd video, and that'll be my final video. So, thanks for watching. I've been Super Ferret. Catch you later.